Okay, greetings and welcome. It is Tuesday, July 29th of 2025. This is the Eccentric Perspective, and I am your host, Blake Wally, and I will be here for the next 60 to 90 minutes or so covering the latest news and current events. Man, do I have a big show lined up. And some very controversial topics I'm going to have to dive into. So, should be an interesting afternoon. Welcome. Glad you could make it here for this historic broadcast. And there is the thumbnail for today. See if I can zoom in. Nothing too special. Didn't add too many details. I was running a little bit behind. Wasn't really even sure what to go with the other headline. So it could be a little bit off. But I do have major stories. There seems to be more parts, more items on the main topic, which would be, are Zionists starving kids in Gaza? Is this true? Could our greatest ally be committing war crimes against starving children in Palestine? Or is it just Hamas taking all the supplies for themselves and letting their own people starve and framing the great people in the Bibi Netanyahu regime, where the wonderful humanitarians trying to give aid to those kids? I mean, certainly there's a tribal beef dispute, but can we leave the kids alone? Can you get them some food, maybe, if they need it? Or is it all propaganda? A lot to unpack there, but I guess that's a headline. And then maybe in parallel worlds, they came up with different stuff. But I'm just outlining, here are the major topics on tap for the day. And that is Israel getting away with starving children in Gaza? And should Obama be impeached for his role against Trump? And how about Trump? Is he responsible for the left-wing media layoffs? Like Colbert, just fascist dictator, purging his political opposition? Also have pardon Ghislaine Maxwell if she provides useful info. And the Trump economy, is it turning out to be a surprise success? And finally, is the Sydney Sweeney ads, are they full of Nazi propaganda? So these burning questions and more, feel free to chime in, give your 2 cents. Maybe a topic I haven't covered. I mean, there's probably a couple things I'm gonna put on the back burner today. Maybe a quick mention of the shooting in New York. So we're still trying to figure out what exactly is going on there. Or the Cincinnati couple that were beaten down by a mob. A little side notes on that. But of course, we can steer this in any direction if you guys want to get involved, or you can just troll me, praise me, or whatever. I mean, I may or may not show your comments, but we shall see. Here's one right. Here's our first one from TK Mark. Are arrests yet following the release of stone cold evidence of the biggest crime in American history? So, I don't know. TK Mark, if you were the Attorney General for a week, who would you arrest and why? Are we ready there? There are going to be, there's actually quite a bit of, there's a little bit of new information on the Russia front, Russiagate, and that is coming apart spectacularly in a good way. So I don't know if arrests are quite there yet. I think this is an issue perhaps they have to win politically in the public sphere. And it's turning. And there's going to be a resistance. But I think, there's got to be some patience and cause for optimism, maybe, or pessimism. Many people just don't think anything's ever going to happen. And that's fine because nothing has until something does get us back in the game. We'll see. But I think I'm optimistic. There are going to be big arrests. They are going to be coming, but I think it's maybe a little too soon. This all just broke, at least with Brennan and Obama. But I will get to that. There's certainly lots of new information on those topics coming up. So stick around. Stay tuned. All right. Hello, Deb. Great to have you as always in the chat from Sacramento. Good stuff. Okay. Well, glad. All right. And anybody else, feel free to chime in. We'll get sidetracked and have fun. All that good stuff. So let me run the quick intro, no ads, and then we'll jump into the headline story. See you on the other side. Here we go. Okay, welcome back. Blake Wally, the Eccentric Perspective. Diving into the top story. Is Israel getting away with starving children? Well, we'll look at it from both sides. We'll be objectively honest as far as I can tell. But feel free to correct the record or give your opinion if you agree or disagree or any of that stuff. Here we go, but this is one person's opinion on the activist post, actually from Caitlin Johnstone, the great activist there, lover or loather. She's saying Gaza isn't starving, it's being starved, and the people who are starving it have names and addresses. I don't know if she's calling for doxing these people, but anyway, malnutrition-related deaths in Gaza are beginning to climb, with the health ministry reporting 18 in a single 24-hour period. So in one day, you had 18 people just dying of starvation. People are collapsing in the street. And I guess one of the few Gaza journalists that hasn't been shot or detained by the IDF is warning the world not to be surprised if the remaining reporters in the enclave are soon silenced by starvation as well. So unless something drastically changes, things can be expected to get much worse very rapidly. Meanwhile, Israeli forces are setting new records with their massacres of starving civilians seeking aid. Apparently 85 were killed in a single day on Sunday. So I don't know if they're just racing to grab some bread out of a truck or something and they're being shot. If you believe that. But according to those in from the other side would be saying, it's just Hamas. They're just hoarding it all for themselves. They're just awful terrorists. They want to just kill their own people. I don't know about that. That isn't past the smell test, but I don't know. I'm not over there. I wouldn't want to go over there. I wouldn't feel safe there. I don't want to say anything against what the IDF is saying, or you're probably going to be in trouble. You're going to be starving yourself or locked up or shot. They'll say it was an accident. They'll say it was Hamas. There's a Hamas sympathizer. Who knows? But there are people dying over there. It's not it's not Israelis. They suffered a horrific attack on 10/7, and people were killed at a music festival. Everything else, it's been completely one-sided since. I don't know. I haven't even looked at the latest numbers, and I should, because the last I checked, it was like 65,000 dead so far. It's going to be much, much higher than that when it's all said and done. So yes, 85 Palestinians are desperately attempting to get aid. Like, please, just want some basic food and medicine. You're gonna get cut. This is the real life Hunger Games. They're not pitting the kids against each other necessarily for the elite's amusement, but they're gonna starve you out. And if you try to, acquire food, they'll shoot you. There you go. That's the Hunger Games. Pretty twisted. I could be wrong. I'm willing to be wrong. Are the people that blindly defend Israel, are they willing to be wrong? Are they willing to have their minds changed to see the reality? Or is it a waste of time? Anyway, so what's the plan? So would we just sit around, watch Israel starve Gaza to death with the support of our own governments? And then what? We just go along with their lives, knowing what happened. This is where we are as a society. Our civilization comfortable allowing something like that to happen. Anyway, it's a moral question. Question of humanity. Even for some of the people around us, we don't like that much. We don't see eye to eye with. Are we allowed to just starve them out? You'll see the Western pundits and politicians. How do we get a ceasefire? How do we end hunger in Gaza? So it's some kind of a mystery. It's not a mystery on how to get a ceasefire. The empire is the fire. Needs to stop. Needs to cease firing. Needs to allow the food to get into Gaza. You drive it in. You give it to people. The reason people in Gaza are starving is because Western governments conspire to pretend it's all, everything's a terrorist organization to justify cutting off critical aid and doing nothing to pressure Israel. So, anyway, it's not an kind of unfortunate famine caused by drought or natural disaster. It is a deliberately manufactured starvation campaign. You could argue that it's being implemented with a genocidal intent. So are they starving or are they being starved? Well, looks from what I can see, unless we want to believe that, Hamas, which are a terrorist group, which we have no love for, would they want to try to protect their own people or would they withhold aid for themselves? I guess it just depends on which propaganda you want to believe. So I said, I'm going to try to be objective about it. Hello. Oops, what is this one? Are YouTubers making useless content out of genocide? I don't know about that. I guess that just depends on what you consider useless content. Hey, and Kenneth B., great to have you here. Always fun. Ladies. Yeah, the snake. I'm growing my hair out, so I don't know if I'm going to rock the Snake Plissken look again for Halloween. It's coming up. Still got my eye patch. Yeah, world is upside down. Hunger Games, exactly. There we go. War and Profits, exactly what it sounds like. Hunger gained. I mean, yeah, go after the Hamas terrorists, you get free hostages, all aboard with all of that stuff, but the children have to suffer for this. It's where they take it a little too far. I can't get behind it anymore. I'm so sick of talking about Israel. Really am. I really don't want to have to go here, but I guess I have to talk about it. Controversial though it may be, divisive as it may be. Yeah. I don't know. It's the shocking reality that people have to see, and this is a major problem that concerns us all. There is a humanitarian disaster occurring. So allegedly, but let's get some other points of view here. Here's Alex Jones asking, is Israel committing genocide in Gaza? We'll just play a couple minutes here from the beginning.
The world is watching this. It's a reality TV show, but for real. And the videos of the Israelis raping people, men, women, children is coming out. And then now, because of the internet, everybody's got the different Israeli leaders and rabbis saying, you know, the Americans are our slaves. It's their lot to do our bidding, to, you know, kill our enemies. And
yes, you got to keep in mind, from their perspective, they're God's chosen people, and we're just supposed to do their bidding. Except these aren't the Hebrews of the Bible. This is the old land. This isn't biblical Israel. This is the new, weird, modern version. But they're still masquerading as though they are our rulers. And it's going too far. So how far are we willing to play ball with our greatest ally? And whatever. Let me just keep running this.
You know, these Palestinians are all orcs, so they all deserve to die. I mean, look, if I wanted to make Israel look bad right now, I could sit here with hours of the most vicious, foaming at the mouth stuff. And this is on national Israeli TV. It's in Hebrew. Now, I get it. I can show you Palestinians on their TV saying, it is okay under Islam to rape the women of the Jews. So when we occupy them, we rape their women. You know, it's just tribal.
Obviously, I'm not going to get on the side of radical jihadists either, or crazy fundamentalists of any kind. So it's really, you know, you don't want to have to be forced to pick a side. But anyway, but they're forcing us to comment on this. This is all happening, and we can no longer turn away. Keep shoving these things into our face until we have a resolution of some kind.
Full, sick, evil. So I do not endorse the Hamas TV shows saying rape the Israeli women. I do not endorse any of it. You've got this super high-tech military that magically stood down for 7.5 hours on October 7th, and they are systematically, I mean, if I wanted to
Yeah, without even getting into the conspiracy theory where they just let their guard down for 7 hours inexplicably and allowed these terrorists to go in, kill all the people in this music festival. I mean, that's a totally other angle altogether. But then the way that they've gone after they've used that as an excuse. I don't want to go down the conspiracy rabbit hole today, at least on this particular issue. Maybe for another day. But these are interesting points, and you can just keep putting these all together, and that'll be interesting once we tell the full story of what actually happened before, during, and after. It's going to shock and disturb a lot of people. But regardless, they had the whole world supporting them after those attacks. And now, as I was making this point in a video I did last week, that they've ruined it. They've ruined all of the people that wanted to help them, because now they're committing atrocities that are 1,000 times worse. Now you've done the music festival thing to them 100 times over and leveled all their infrastructure, destroyed Gaza, people buried under the rubble, tens of thousands of innocent people. Okay, you have a right to defend yourself, but you don't have a right to commit genocide and just wipe out, I don't know. This is going to be over 100,000 people probably when it's all said and done. So, yeah, just awful crimes against humanity. All All right, so let's keep going.
Israel. I mean, I don't want to, but I have to go ahead. It's not my problem. I need to cover this more. It's very painful to watch these videos, and I really don't want to turn the show into a snuff film. But every day, without trying to look, I see a little Palestinian boy trying to fish, and they shoot him right between the eyes and blow his head off on camera. Or you got little kids playing hopscotch in a rubble, and a 1,000-pound bomb drops on them. And my problem is, I'm not like a dog that vomits and goes back to it. I watch this stuff to know what's going on, and then I have this, it's very hard for me to put it on air and to look at it again, because it just, I have empathy. And then I remember, though, on average, the Muslims are so tribal and crazy. We bring them over here, they'll do that to us. But that doesn't mean.
That's another point. It's not to say like, oh yeah, let's bring the Palestinians into America. That'll solve the problem. It's something we just don't need to get involved with. But this is apparently our greatest ally over there. So we've always got to constantly defend them, even though they're doing terrible things. Anyway. Right. And it's the problem is a lot of people don't get to see this kind of stuff. You'll never see this on Fox. They'll never give you numbers, never give you the data. They'll just say, oh my God, everyone's anti-Semitic for even, dare questioning anything from Israel. Who would support Hamas? The way that they will just disingenuously twist that. Let's keep rolling a little longer.
Even though Israel's just got a right to kill them all and act like them. And those little kids don't deserve that. That's why we have chivalry. If Israel would have taken out the leadership of Hamas day one, they would be seen as the victims and have total support and be very popular. Israel in Gallup poll is now the most unpopular country in the world.
That's damning. Again, not a figure you're going to hear on Fox. Not that not a vendetta against Fox. They do a lot of good stuff, at least over the last 10 years, but they are really weird when it comes to all things war. Going for Russia, or that's unwavering 100% support of Israel. They have their flaws as well. This is going to be also one of the things I talked about in the last video I did. Just about how the gap from the boomers to Gen Z, completely different with their support for Israel. Whereas the boomers are like 90% seem to support, maybe that's a little high, but it's the complete opposite with Gen Z, who just hates anything to do with Bibi and this modern caricature of Israel. So anyway, yes, I would agree. It's great there, Deb. No words that make this right. Yeah, there is no justification for what they've done. You had the whole world supporting you after 10/7. You could have played this completely differently, and everyone would have supported you in getting all those hostages back. And taking out Hamas, condemning them, showing you have the moral high ground. And what do? They make up propaganda about the beheaded babies and mass rapes, and then they slaughter tens of thousands of people. And they think they've got just full control over the United States, our ally, and they can get away with whatever they want. So, but they've way overplayed their hand, and I think this is going to backfire. It is backfiring in a big way, and we might be in a bubble here, but even as Alex is saying, according to the polls, you go around the world, people have really turned on Israel in the worst way. Now they're like the most hated country in the world. And they did it to themselves. And it's not just the people, it's the regime. And a lot of people, they don't want Bibi. They've been trying to get rid of him. They can't. So at some point, I hope they can send Bibi to the Hague, face war crimes, and the people can have free elections. Maybe they can I don't know, create new arrangements with their neighbors, get along better. I don't know, but we'll move on. The never-ending Israel-Palestine war that murders innocents, children, and starving refugees is a moral dilemma of staggering magnitude. But what to do? Palestinian terror. They hide in schools and hospitals and refugee camps, shoot missiles at Israel, and then Israel retaliates. Innocents die. Innocents die. So, as they, heavy-handed takedown Palestine, take up more of their territory. Warmongers who have no morals. So the mass starvation is intensified. Global inaction has sparked moral outrage. Media and aid workers also at risk. It's the greatest moral failure of the world community on record. Yeah, imagine if they weren't, they didn't have so many politicians in their pocket. Things might change, but I think it's going to change no matter what. Again, they've pushed way too far this time, and there's no putting the genie back in the bottle. Let's even Piers Morgan has turned on this one, and he's calling out Netanyahu publicly. They had a BBC journalist going into Gaza. Takes a lot of balls. Everybody's an old BBC guy, so maybe he's better protected than some. So let's check out this clip. I think the volume's going to be a little low, but we'll try it.
The Jordanians have passed on a message from the Israelis. The Israelis don't want us to film out of the window at the devastation inside Gaza. But I've spent 10 minutes looking at it with my own eyes. And I can tell you that communities in the north of Gaza that I knew well, very vibrant, tens of thousands of people living hard lives, but actually with a remarkable human spirit, are flat. There's nothing left of them. Now, if you've been watching satellite pictures, it won't come as any surprise. But seeing it is really something. Israel will not allow reporters like myself to enter Gaza to report the story. And they don't want us to see it.
This has been going on for decades. They're just trying to cover everything up. They don't want people to see the atrocities. For so long they've held this image of these great moral humanitarians, just trying to live peacefully with their neighbors. But it's not true. They don't want you to see things. They will condemn anybody. They'll destroy your career. Speak out. A lot of people get in a lot of trouble reporting out there. It's a hostile regime if you're not on their side. So they're calling it out. If there was no starving of the people, then it should be obvious to show that. It'd be like, here we've got all these aid trucks. We're trying to drive it in, and they could show their side of the story and say, no, it's just Hamas taking all the food for themselves, and they're starving their own people. Okay. Why won't you let journalists in? It's bullshit. Anyway, we're going to keep rolling here. Get to some of these comments here in a minute. But the reality is, even Trump calling this out now. Says he wants Netanyahu to make sure they get the food in Gaza amid the humanitarian crisis. I thought I had something else on this I was going to share. All out of it. Okay. Well, anyway. Where did I leave off? Okay, I'm disorganized now. Trump says he wants, yes. Because there was, that's right. I was looking for the video clip of where Bibi is saying there was no starvation. Here we go. Now I'm back with it. So let's check out this clip. Here's Bibi.
There is.
Who has the audacity to just sit up there and lie.
There is no starvation in Gaza, no policy of...
Sounds like Bill Clinton. I did not have sex with that woman, Monica Lewinsky.
There is no starvation in Gaza, no policy of starvation in Gaza, and I assure you that we have a commitment to achieve our war goals. We'll continue to fight till we achieve the release of our hostages and the destruction of Hamas's military and governing capabilities. They shall be there no more. We shall not have any more of these massacres. We shall not have any more of these monstrosities. We stand for human freedom and human life.
What? This is a demon. I'm not a religious guy, but coming as somebody who went to Catholic school for a few years. I mean, I swear, if I was religious, I would say there is a demon possessing that man. That is not a human being right there. You can just tell by his voice. I don't know. Maybe it's a thing. I don't know. Is it a Zionist thing? These people that are just masquerading as God's chosen people, and they all have some weird voice, like Bibi or Shapiro or Mark Levin. They all look like they're demonically possessed. I don't know. Is that a coincidence? Maybe. But this guy is a psychopathic liar, and I'm absolutely sick of his shit. I can't believe he's still out there. When are they going to arrest this piece of shit? All right, let's let him continue to lie in his little demon voice.
We stand for human freedom and human life.
Sorry for me. I can't believe he said that with a straight face. Stands for human freedom and human life. That is a cold-blooded psychopath. Holy shit.
And that is not commensurate with Hamas or with Iran, other Iranian proxies. We've fought this battle together. We shall win it together.
Okay. Oh, what was that? I trolled him with that. Yeah, so I did the little quote tweet. I even called out Bibi myself. Not that I have that much reach. But just to say, yeah, Bibi's a lying psychopath that would starve Jesus. You better believe it. Jesus came back to Israel. They would not look at him as the Son of God returning. They don't want the Prince of Peace. That's bad for business, man. They would have him locked up and tortured. Prove me wrong. All right, let's move on. I'll roll. This is a 1-minute clip. I just made it specially for him based on my last show. So Israel's got a major crisis on its hands. So they're making some desperate attempts at PR, but I don't think it's going to work. And they only have themselves to blame. They had the whole world on their side after 10/7. Fucking Hamas, crazy-ass terrorists, invading, going in Israel, slaughtering people at a music festival, 40 beheaded babies, mass rapes. Except it turned out that there were no beheaded babies. There was no mass rapes. There were a lot of people that got killed, and it was an awful fucking story. And you had the whole world supporting you. And somehow they fucked that up because they made up propaganda that wasn't true. And then they used that as an excuse to slaughter tens of thousands of innocent people. And they're currently still committing war crimes and starving the people out. The people that murdered Jesus, and don't think that if Jesus came back, Bibi Netanyahu would have him imprisoned immediately. Are these our allies? I don't know. I don't think so. Not anymore. They've ruined it. They've destroyed their reputation. Okay, there you go. Certainly have. Mystique is gone. I mean, it could be great again, but they got to get rid. They got to get Flesh Bibi. Re-identify. I don't know. That might be it might be done. It's just too toxic of a situation there. I don't know how they resolve this. Here's Jon Stewart, a Jewish man, but very, intellectually honest is not going to be, you can again, this isn't like an anti-Semitic thing. This is a skepticism of Zionism thing, and whether you believe that some of these like East Europeans, these Russians, or a Polish Jew like Netanyahu is, a part of biblical Israel, and he's God's chosen person, and that they have a right to retake that land. I'm not going to go into that argument for today, but there's a big difference between the religion, Judaism, and then these Zionist colonists that occupy that land today. Maybe not on the same page, but we'll see. So here we go. Let's listen to Jon Stewart.
This has rocked my. I feel like a crazy person. I feel like I'm watching something that is so self-evidently inhumane and horrific. And to be told that I have to shut up because I risk the Jewish state by speaking out, I would say the opposite. I think not. I think they're putting the likelihood of a surviving Jewish state much more at risk with this type of action. I think they're the ones that are being if you want to define Netanyahu, with the definition of anti-Semitism, would probably have to bomb himself. This has rocked my. I feel like a crazy person.
Yeah, you don't want to be caught in it. I mean, some of the best people that are speaking out right now are Jewish. Whether it's John's like voices of reason, saying, "Hey, this is wrong. Yeah, maybe these are my people, sort of, but this is awful, and I'm going to call it out no matter what." Whether that's Jon Stewart or Glenn Greenwald or Comic Dave Smith, they've all been great voices, and that's what you need, those guys. So that's going to change the narrative, and it needs to be changed. Yeah, it's just, sometimes these leaders, they get drawn to that, or they're narcissists, and they're drawn to these opportunities where they can be great, and they can be very problematic and very tough to get rid of. Yes, something is wrong. I'm definitely on the spiritual side, but not necessarily religious. But I know that there's something more to this. There's a right and a wrong, and there's something very odd about some of these people. Yeah, definitely Yahoo. Yeah, the masks are off. They're showing us who they really are now. Something I've been warning about with Bibi for a very long time. The things that he would get away with if he could, and he's gotten it. This is what he wanted, and part of it was just because he was in a desperate situation. He's like trying to desperately grab onto power because people were ready to oust him, like recall him, get rid of him. And then all of a sudden he got the 10/7 attack, and now he's got new powers as the head of the state to defend the country. Yeah. I don't know. Some of these I'm going to post. Oh, speaking of Jon Stewart, big fan of. He's always made a the side joke, a little running gag that they've had against Arby's. You guys are talking about that a lot. So Kenneth, trying to find your comment here. Back in the old stomping grounds in Minnesota. The Rosedale Mall last week. Very nice. Yeah, I used to work there I worked at Arby's back in 1994 or something like that. Place used to be crazy busy. Yeah, I worked at the Arby's around the holiday shopping season at the freaking busiest mall. That was before the Mall of America was built. It's a good time. It's an inside joke for another day. Arby's is all right. It's kind of weird, though. Kind of weird. strange texture. And I worked there. It was still weird. But it's fun once in a while. Alrighty. Well, anyway, that was a little fun down the nostalgia there. Okay. Well, so it's not just Jon Stewart. There's other people sounding the alarm. This is not easy to go against the big ally here. But again, it's become so toxic. People are giving some distance now. So here's Prime Minister from England, Keir Starmer, announcing that the UK will recognize Palestine as a state coming September unless Israel agrees to a ceasefire.
On the 7th of October 2023, Hamas perpetrated the worst massacre in Israel's history. Every day since then, the horror has continued. The hostages are still being held today. The Palestinian people have endured terrible suffering. Now, in Gaza, because of a catastrophic failure of aid, we see starving babies, children too weak to stand, images that will stay with us for a lifetime.
Yeah. It's weird. How do you screw that up? The whole world's support. Everybody is on your side, trying to help out their friend Israel. Oh my God, those awful Hamas terrorists. We should condemn them. We should get everyone together around the world to condemn the Hamas terrorists and free the hostages. That was bad, but now what Israel is doing, okay, now you killed tens of thousands of people in response. Yes, you have a right to defend yourself, but oh my God, now you're starving children in the streets and lying about it. Okay, nope, we're done. Backing up. Had enough, seen enough. Here it is. Out of Australia. Sky News. That's where I stole the picture from the thumbnail today. Starmer warns Hamas's monstrous terrorism with the Palestinian state shift, Netanyahu says. Netanyahu's mad now. He's accusing of Keir Starmer of rewarding Hamas's terrorism. So, it's not going well. They got children eating out of piles of garbage as the Gaza aid is trickling in. Yes, here's some of the horrific photos. But yeah, even like the Alex Jones is saying, there are so many things. You could just spend hours going over all of the awful video clips of the atrocities happening in Gaza. Crying mothers and fathers and children dead and blown apart. Okay. Got another one, another country. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. This one out of WikiLeaks just from a few hours ago, saying Netherlands has now listed Israel as a national security threat. Dutch's government counterterrorism agency is a threatening state actor alongside Iran, Russia, and Turkey. So there as a subversive influence to alter public perception. But anyway, so you got Netherlands, you got the UK, certainly got a big portion of the United States now turning against it. And as Alex said, you got the least popular country in the world now, most hated. And let's see, they got a stranglehold though in the Congress. But Marjorie Taylor Greene, first GOP lawmaker to call Israel's destruction of Gaza a genocide, so that's breaking through. Okay, keep moving on. Although Laura Loomer saying the anti-Israel crowd will cry about fake stories about starvation in Gaza before they shed a tear for a homeless U.S. veteran. America, she is so lost right now. This is the hill she has chosen to die on, and she's going to die there, I guess. Laura Loomer, the feisty Jewess, as she calls herself. She sees America first, but I don't know if I believe that anymore. Oh, and she said this one too. This is my last little troll error. She said there is no genocide in Gaza. Oh, okay. So here's the little Jim Jones gif drinking the Zionist Kool-Aid. I mean, it's the audacity just to come out and gaslight people. Absolutely sickening seeing some of these like grifters from the MAGA side, just the weird support they have for Israel. No matter what, there's no atrocity they could commit they won't defend. Except that actually did backfire. In fact, one Israel bootlicker went too far even for AIPAC because he screwed up. He's taking a lot of shit for it, and well deserved. Is Randy Fine? He's taken over $400,000 for Israel. He's been criticized for his support, no matter what. But he went too far for AIPAC because he came out as pro-starving kids. Because he was justifying, he's saying it's okay that Israel can starve kids. Whatever Israel wants to do, I will defend it because I am no principles, no integrity. I just want to be elected, and AIPAC pays a lot of money, so I will kiss their ass. Except he got a little too over his skis. And he should have stuck to the talking points of there is no starvation in Gaza. Israel would never do that. It must have been Hamas. They're taking the supplies. But he said, no, it's okay to starve them. And so then they're like, oh, well, one, you admitted that they're starving kids. And second of all, yeah, we're not. The game is to pretend like they're the good guys no matter what. But now they're being exposed. It's funny, like even their own person get nailed. So he's getting roasted for it. Yeah, not even AIPAC wants to be associated with him anymore. Yeah, when you're too sociopathic, even for AIPAC, you've really reached a massive low. Yeah, AIPAC star until today.
The Jews do not feel safe today. We are a people that has been kicked out of every place we've ever lived for 2,000 years. Every single place.
Okay. Here's MTG. I remember the first time I met Randy Fine. He just has no morals. Some of these people, they just crave the power. Oh, to which Laura Loomer said there's no genocide in Gaza, and I said there is no humanity in your soul. Laura Loomer, having some fun with her. I don't know if she gets to see that stuff or not. I don't expect a response. She's lost it, man. Let's see. Get caught back up. So I'm running behind here. Deb, yes. I've always been a big fan of Jon Stewart, too. He does a lot of good stuff. He's been the best voice on the left for probably the last 20 years. I would say so. But there was one person that stood out as the best voice of reason, who's kind of held true. Definitely Jon Stewart. Kenneth worked at Musicland. Yeah, but they don't have free food. Do they give you an employee discount? That's when the CDs, they get pretty expensive. So I'd work at Arby's all day. I used to work 10 hours. I used to work 10 hours on Saturdays. That was like a normal thing. I worked 17 hours. So I would go to high school full time, and then I would work 10 hours on Saturday and 7 hours on Saturday at frickin' Arby's. I didn't know any better. It's like a 10-hour shift. Oh, okay, whatever. That's a long day, man. You get a 1/2 hour break. I don't even know if they paid us. And then they'd only give us like a discount on food. I didn't even get free food. Such a scam. I only worked there for about 5 months. But it was a good experience. Learned a lot. Yeah, it's just probably not the healthiest choice. Whatever that stuff is. Sort of roast beef. But yeah, Jon Stewart has always had that gag. He is not a fan. And Toxically Masculine Tuesday coming in later tonight, about 5 hours from now, 4 hours from now. Should be interesting. Mike Barra, Trail Boss Steve Doran, Dr. Brooks Agnew, and myself. Best round table on the internet. Okay. So yeah, it should be on as far as I know. Good times. Yeah, Trump got dragged into this conflict, but fortunately, I don't know, it might have even coordinated with Iran to just be like, okay, we just have to have a show here. Put on a little dog and pony show for the people and show Israel that we've got their back. Yeah, okay, baby. Well, we'll go in and we'll take care of our Iranian problem for you. And then he took 10 miles. Yeah, could you imagine what Bibi would do if he had control of the United States military? If everybody answered to Bibi, what kind of shape our planet would in? How many wars would be in? It's crazy. Yeah. Hey, Rick, how you doing? Great to have you. Sorry, I'm a little behind. Yeah, you just missed me going into detail about Gaza genocide, starving kids, criticism of or skepticism of Zionism, all the stuff I really don't want to talk about, but damn it, they've forced me to. There's just too much. Yeah. So definitely, it should be an interesting show. There's a lot of good stuff in the news. It's been a historic news cycle. So we'll look forward to that. Yeah, I agree with you, Deb. I mean, it's ironic, isn't it? It's Nazism and then the Zionist Ashkenazi, the Ashkenazi. Zion. It's like it's right in front of us. Maybe. Again, it's not an anti-Semitic thing at all. I don't care what people believe, as long. But if you believe that you're like better than me because you're like God's chosen people, and you can just do whatever you want and go commit genocide, and nobody's supposed to say anything, that's when things go off the rails for me. I can't support this guy. Never could see it. Okay. Well, what else? Okay, well, I got one more on the top story. I guess, yeah, since Israel's got the worst like PR crisis going on right now, they're freaking out. So they know they can't win hearts and minds, so now they're just going to try to censor people from saying anything. No criticism of Israel. They'll just call you anything will be just anti-Semitic. So now TikTok has hired an ex-IDF instructor, Erica Mendel, to censor anti-Semitism. TikTok, which is still facing being banned at any moment. So they've hired a former IDF instructor to police hate speech. with the focus on combating anti-Semitism, except how much stuff are they going to throw into that? Is it anti-Semitism or skepticism of Zionism? Or is it just going to be a zero tolerance? So that's the worry. They're going to be heavy-handed like they are with the military against Gazans. But here she is.
My name is Erica Mindell, and I work for Project Interchange at American Jewish Committee. I grew up in a traditional conservative household. I went to a traditional Jewish day school, a traditional conservative summer camp, and like many other American Jews, I took a gap year before college and spent 10 months living in Israel, where I participated in a program that was centered around exploring and understanding Jewry worldwide. My sophomore year at the University of Michigan,
all right. Well, anyway, there she goes. Not that I have an issue with that if they have a specialist. My worry is that they're going to take it way too far, and they're just going to ban, censor, and destroy anybody who criticizes their country over there for any reason. But this has all been building for a while, as Jonathan Greenblatt of the ADL has pointed this out, that they have a major TikTok problem. They can't control the messaging. And they realize that Gen Z is now like 90% against them. So rather than clean up their shit, rather than getting rid of Bibi and sending him to the ICC and saying, oh my God, sorry for all the crimes against humanity, let's clean ourselves up. No, we're just going to censor anybody for saying it, showing it. They try to censor the journalists, and now they're going to censor the videos. I don't think it's going to work. But anyway, that's what I've got on that topic. It was a long one. That's why it was the headline. So many points. So Israel's getting away with starving children in Gaza. Yes, we all know it. Even Trump has confirmed it. I had one from, I think, J.D. Vance also. It's not up for debate anymore. Bibi can say what he wants, but he has got no credibility left. So, anyway. Really, Rick, yeah, the only reason, our greatest benefit to this arrangement that we have with our ally is that they have some of the world's best intelligence, especially with, the Middle East region. But that's it. That's like, okay, we provide all of this military aid and money. It's a very one-sided deal. But they provide intelligence, even though they do spy on us. Steve Bannon. I don't know about that. Okay, well, let's jump topics. Obama, should he be impeached for his role against Trump? So we're talking is the presidents, do they have immunity? It's one of the big questions now that the Russiagate thing, the whole narrative has changed, thanks to Tulsi Gabbard finding an old House Intel Committee assessment found in an old safe, I guess. They finally realized, so they got their smoking gun now. That Obama, John Brennan, James Comey, the Intelligence Committee, or some of the top staffers, manipulated the information and cooked up a conspiracy against Trump. Blamed the Russians for it. So this is gonna be interesting. But so I guess there's a loophole. So can you get Obama for treason? I don't know. You can go after, Brennan, Comey. Certainly this is a treasonous act to sabotage the incoming president and convince the world that they were allied with a foreign superpower. It is really bad. So, high-level treason. But it was just a matter of, but can they go after Obama? And the answer is, I believe yes. So you got Trump's former impeachment lawyer, David Shane, flips the script, uses Democrats' own argument to prove Obama can still be impeached, stripped of immunity, and indicted for his crimes. So you can't just necessarily go directly at the president, but it's interesting because they did this again. This is another thing that they did to themselves by going after Trump with the second impeachment. They show that you can go after that. They did it. Yeah, they set the precedent. So why not impeach Obama after the fact? Then after you strip him of his immunity, then you go after him. So they're calling it a legal nuke on the legacy of Barack Obama. And so if he's impeached, he could lose his post-presidential immunity and face indictment for criminal conduct tied to the Russian collusion hoax. Now there is no doubt. It was absolutely a hoax cooked up, and it came up from the very top. And they knew it was BS all along, and they lied to the American people, and they started a whole big fishing expedition to try to destroy their political nemesis. Now we're going to have to turn everything around, and somebody's going to have to be held accountable. So the explosive revelation came just days after Trump remarked that Obama owed him big because of the recent Supreme Court decision affirming presidential immunity for official acts. But Shane, or Schoen, however you want to pronounce that, is not going to let Obama off the hook. So during the second failed impeachment attempt against Trump, the Democrats moved the goalposts, claiming impeachment could apply even after a president leaves office. And as part of that, they did that to disqualify Trump from running again. So now they could come back to haunt Obama. According to the Democratic Party and the House managers in the second impeachment trial, the president, once out of office, is still subject to impeachment. So here we go. Let's listen to him in his own words.
President Trump is right when he said the immunity decision would help President Obama. But you know what it doesn't help him with? Impeachment. According to the Democratic Party and the House managers in the second impeachment trial, a former president, once out of office, is still subject to impeachment. In other words, they've argued Lincoln could be impeached, George Washington impeached, and certainly, as I predicted at the time, this would come back, they would rue the day, because President Obama could be impeached if this evidence really says what it says. And that it could also strip him of the immunity, because under Article 1, Section 3, Clause 7 of the Constitution, the Democrats argued it bars one from holding further office, and the language itself says you're still subject to criminal prosecution or indictment. So we'll see how that plays out.
Okay. So that could be a big game changer there. Because it felt kind of defeating. Like, not that I have an axe to grind with Obama, but he committed treason. He was involved in a number of scandals, but he cannot be allowed to get away with this stuff. So you're like, but he was the president. Nothing can be done. Well, yeah. They're going to have to find a way, and it sounds like they just did. I'm not the legal expert, but that dude is. Whoops. Yeah. Impeached jail clothing. Good one, Kenneth. Yeah, they need to hold Obama accountable, because that destroyed family. I mean, that's just taken our whole country off of course for their own selfish reasons. They're manipulating our entire reality by what he did, by cooking up this whole Russiagate thing. They could have put Trump away in prison forever, and everybody would have believed that, oh, he was, on the Kremlin payroll. He was Putin's puppet. They tried to. Yeah, so that is big time sedition, treason, and there's so much. If you want to really dig into Obama, it's also with Hillary. There's mysterious deaths that are unexplained. Yeah, let's ask the chef. Oh wait, yeah, it's not gonna happen. Yep, exactly right, Rick. They set the precedent. They set the trap themselves. So now it's time to turn the tables. Definitely shot themselves in the foot. Who knew at that time? So I was like, why are they going to go after him again? Just let it go. Constant lawfare. Then they tried to blow his head off. Now there's going to be a day of reckoning. We certainly hope. Yeah, liberals won't buy that. So I did see a stat that's coming up somewhere. I don't know if I have it, but I think it's something like 60% of liberals, leftists, Democrats still believe that, Trump is somehow still colluding with Russia. But I don't know. I think there might be this narrative could change. I think that's what they're really fearing right now. There's a big crisis coming up for the media as well. I'm going to that's coming up shortly, so I'll break that down a bit. I think this hoax is unraveling, and there's new information coming out this week, so I think people are going to see the light. But they've held a secret for a long time, including with fact checkers, which I'm going to get to because that's coming up soon. Obama will face no 5. His wealth will be greater on the date. Oh, he's a prediction. I'm not sure if I'm reading this correctly, but I'm guessing you're saying he's will face his wealth will be greater on the date in 2028. That is today. Basically, I'm just guessing you're saying Obama's going to get away with this scot-free. He's going to be richer than ever in a few years, and nobody's going to care. I know TK is a little bit more pessimistic until something's going to happen, and I that's fair. Till the first arrest, we can't get our hopes up. But I don't know. No worries. No worries. But I'm going to be optimistic here. I'm going to say there are going to be some big arrests. It's coming. Justice is coming. And if Trump doesn't do anything, these people are going to come after everybody again. This is all about survival. After you're trying to throw him away, throw him in prison, and trying to blow his head off, and now with all this stuff getting exposed, I think he's going to do something. So more developments on this. We got John Bolton is now implicated in the Trump-Russia hoax. Revealed that he concealed classified evidence from Trump. This is the problem with this first administration. It's absolutely sabotaged from everywhere. And he tried to cozy up and play nice with some of these neocons, and they all stabbed him in the back. So Bolton received a top secret memo detailing how this ex-CIA director Brennan fabricated intelligence to smear Trump. So in other words, this whole Russia hoax, Obamagate, Russiagate, whatever we want to call it. They knew that it was BS. They knew that the Steele report was ridiculous. But they continued to go along with the narrative to destroy their opposition. But rather than tell Trump that, rather than tell him that, hey, Trump, the deep state's trying to sabotage you, they covered it up. He just buried it inside of a safe. So Bolton he took part of the intelligence that he was supposed to use as a briefing and stuck it in a safe so that Trump could continue believing that Brennan's intel manipulated it. It's amazing. So there's a lot of people here in a lot of trouble. Should be. Russian collusion hoax is worse than you think. Actually, several articles from the Federalist about this. So at this point, what's the real question? Should we determine who gets investigated? Who has access to this material? We know Obama and his intel chiefs had access to material in the summer of 2016 that suggested Moscow knew that Clinton was going to try to smear Trump as a Russian asset. I mean, it's so much worse. They tried to blame Russia, but it turns out Russia just had a bunch of dirt on Clinton that they never actually used. They didn't have anything on Trump. They just saw the whole conspiracy unfold, and they didn't tell anybody. So Russiagate wouldn't have been possible without a complicit propaganda press. And of course, the reason is because they're complicit. So yeah, you got to make a good point there, Rick. They're going to want the people to admit it is a hoax. So much of it has been put up by these corporate liars, but they're getting fleshed out though as well. Colbert. There's going to be an exodus from the Washington Post. There's people getting bought out. The reckoning is upon us. DOJ could be playing around. Yeah, I guess they're going to be playing games behind the scenes, and they got a big thing going on with Ghislaine Maxwell. Trying to see what kind of information they can get. But at some point, yeah, I think it's time to put up the pressure and get these guys to turn on each other. That should be entertaining. Bolton definitely nuts. If I had to reschedule rank number one worst president, would I pick Biden or Obama? Definitely Obama. Man, he is really a very deceptive radical who did a ton of damage to this country. But Biden was pretty transparent. It was obvious he was just a corrupt goofball. But Obama was he was cool in the way he was deceptive, and he just got everybody to go along with it. Again, I'm not a religious person. We covered that. But if there was like an antichrist type of figure, I would definitely put like Obama and Bibi Netanyahu at that top there. I don't know if any of that stuff is true, but I'm just talking about these charismatic leaders that just did a ton of destruction and people believed their lies. I mean, people have practically worshipped Obama. They still do. He could get away with so much. But I think his legacy is about to get destroyed here. But again, that's something he did to himself. Guys, he's an interesting character. I almost, admire how slick he was. But yeah, bad dude. But I mean, it's a product of just the way he grew up and all the people he knew and the people in his life. With Chicago and his friends with the heirs and the radicals, the communists, and Frank Marshall Davis, mentor, allegedly his real father. I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff when you go down the Obama rabbit hole. So he's kind of made that way. And I think he was groomed for president, allegedly, for a very long time. They knew he was a superstar. They used him as a tool to further an agenda, maybe. Again. But it'll be interesting when they finally figure out who he is, what he tried to do, what he was actually up to behind the scenes. People are going to be shocked. Yeah, good old Barry Soetoro, Bathhouse Barry, and Bill Ayers. The radical people that he hung out with during those times. And Eric Holder followed in his mentor's footsteps. Frank Marshall Davis from Hawaii to Chicago. And then going into Obama's CIA, grandfather from his mother's side. There is a weird stuff going on with Obama. But he's a bad dude. Definitely deceptive. That was a tough one to navigate those years when he was in power. Okay, well, let's keep moving along. Ratcliffe signals it's not too late to prosecute the ongoing Russia collusion conspiracy. Yeah, there's no statute of limitations on this. And especially he mentions because it's still ongoing. I mean, they're still making the rounds on TV saying, "Oh, there's no Russian collusion. Oh, Tulsi Gabbard's crazy." So it's still they're committing a conspiracy. So they can't get away with that. So I might have some hope here, even for the CIA director. I'm with Maria Bartiromo, saying there's no doubt in my mind that people that we just talked about conspired against Trump. They conspired against the American people. There's a statute of limitations are going to impact this because statute of limitation doesn't start to run out until the last act in the furtherance of that conspiracy. But they are still perpetuating that. Okay, keep going on. Yes, CIA to declassify the Durham docs showing FBI dumped oil on the fire of the Russian hoax. So this is not over by any means. Yeah, CIA pledging new files exposing Hillary Clinton in the Russia hoax. So I know TK Mark is not happy that there has not been any arrests yet. But I think this is where you're seeing the collapse of the narrative. And then once people realize, okay, they were lied to, the hope is that the leftists, there's some humanity there that we can reach, and they're going to go, oh my God, we've been played for fools all these years. Obama lied to us. The media lied to us. And now they should be mad. They should be the ones pissed at Brennan for misleading them. They treated them like idiots, their constituents like idiots, to push a hoax, a collusion hoax. And it turns out they were the ones colluding and involved in a conspiracy. So they're going to call for the arrest. They're going to want some accountability. I hope. That would be the easy way. And then there's going to be no choice to arrest because then everybody's going to be like, hey, let's do this. And once there's enough public support, they're going to do it. And maybe they will at some point anyway. We're not going to wait forever for everyone to wake up. But I mean, this is unraveling right now. It's just in the last couple of weeks. Yeah, we were all deceived. We wanted hope and change, and we got deceived, disappointment. Kenneth likes Tulsi's hair. It's a very distinguished look. That little white highlight there. One to prison. Choose Hillary over Obama. That's a good question. That's a good one to throw out there. If you could only arrest one person, who would it be? Hillary or Obama? They should really go down as a team. So her and Obama and Brennan and Comey. That should be like for sure. Those four have to go down. And then some of the other people that were complicit in this are going to go along after, maybe, or before. Yeah, if nothing happens, then all hope is lost. So it's a tough one. That's where it's really hard when you make that first big arrest, when the Patriots really do when the White Hats are in control and they actually do something, and there is finally that big high-level arrest that will has the capacity to change things around very quickly. That'll be cool. Then we can finally have accountability and have a real country again. Get us back in track, make our forefathers proud. I didn't know John B. Wells didn't like Tulsi. John B. Wells gets it right most of the time. He's a good guy. A lot of respect for him and what he does. I just assumed he always liked Tulsi. I don't know if there was a thing going on there or not, but I guess that's changed now. Well, I think she's had some of the unwavering support for Israel. He probably doesn't like that. But if I'm guessing, that was kind of my only real big criticism of her as well. But she's doing a phenomenal job. I wouldn't have it any other way. And yeah, she's broken Russiagate wide open. The rest is history. Don't forget the Clintons hit list. Yeah, they can get their reckoning too. I sure hope. A lot of these guys. So let's get back to the kind of got two other major stories here. Trump is responsible for the left-wing media layoffs. Or should I finish the other question? Obama, should he be impeached for his role against Trump? Absolutely. If that's the way if you can't directly charge him with treason and arrest him, then impeach him first. And then strip his immunity and then drop the hammer. Okay, I'm done. I'm all about it. Bring it on. Next, is Trump responsible for the left-wing media layoffs? I would say indirectly. They've done this to themselves. So you've got that crazy lady from NPR. They've been defunded, PBS, and PBS, NPR defunded. You got Colbert out. It's completely one-sided hackery. Jonathan Capehart, and now the big, who is this? Oh, this is Gadfly Philip Bump. All right, another one that's really under fire today is Glenn Kessler, because he was the fact checker for the Washington Post. He's gone. The left-wing media, they were losing money for years just so they could spread propaganda. But now they're going to try to be profitable again and maybe gain some of their credibility left. This might be due also in part to the Russiagate thing being exposed. So for years, Glenn Kessler was, oh, yes, the liberal media, they had everything, they always had going after Trump disingenuously and saying that he had told 30,000 some lies. But a lot of it was because they assumed all the, conspiracy theories like Russiagate were true. So, they're out. This is a very good article. It's a bit long. This is from Matt Taibbi's New Racket News. He's on Substack because he had to change because the only way to survive in the old guard media was to, perpetuate the propaganda. But since he didn't go along with it, he had to go do his own thing. The people that had integrity had to go do their own, had to start Substacks. Now the corporate whores, like some of these guys here, although, Capehart's a nice guy, but definitely a flaming propagandist. They're out. So here it is, Pinocchio, the Pinocchio-wielding propagandist Glenn Kessler, leaving behind more fiction than fact. Yes, they would just use that as a watchdog and to prove to all of their followers that, yes, the Trump and the Republicans were always lying. They always had to do the fact checks, but it was obviously totally partisan. Now with the Russia thing blowing up, they were the ones pushing the conspiracy theories over the years. Here's another one. Glenn Kessler's departure from the WAPO signals the end of media fact-checking. Yeah, the corporate media has just no credibility anymore. How big the OJ trial? Wait till the Obama trial. Yeah, I can only imagine something like that. Wow, everyone will know where they are. Just like when the OJ thing happened. And I remember I was in high school and it was such a big deal. Like all the teachers were like, yeah, we're going to watch this. Like classes are almost like effectively shut down because everybody wants to hear the OJ verdict. That was a huge deal. Remember that. John B. didn't trust Tulsi at first, but yeah, we all have to be inspired now by the what she's been doing lately. Left wings are only good at Hooters. I don't even know if they have Hooters anymore. And then, are you the flats or the drums guy, Kenneth? It used to drive me crazy when people used to order that, but I want all drums. Yeah, whatever. To each their own. Speaking, let's see. I'm missing somebody. The Ben Rich, Seth Rich. Is that Seth Rich's birthday today? Because that's another thing they got to dig up and get to the bottom of that one. Or is it Ben Rich, the head of Lockheed? I don't know exactly which one that is. Kenneth B's the flats man. Yeah, the flats are good. Like a variety. Like the girls there. Yeah, I don't know if I just don't know if they have any more Hooters, right? Did they cut out most of their franchises? It's too hard to survive these days in the franchises. The sit-down restaurants, they're all dying lately. It's just not the same thing. Everything's changing now. So, I don't know. Yeah, Seth Rich. Yeah, he's a great American, man. Terrible tragedy. You know that, yeah, the Democrats killed that dude. Blamed it on botched robbery. That was an interesting event that happened. They're going to try to bury that one for like 66 years. I don't know when they're going to release that data. They should do that too. To add to the list. Epstein, RFK, MLK, JFK, Trump assassination shooters. Yeah, they lower their standards. That's on tap too with the Sydney Sweeney thing. Oh, okay. I'm going to have to look into that one. I know there's a big body count that they have. And I think it was, I saw a random Roger Stone post talking about, I think it was the anniversary of Vince Foster that died a few days ago or 30 years ago. Making a mention of that. It was just obvious that they like rolled him out in the carpet and took him out. It's crazy without going down that rabbit hole. But yes, Clintons and the Obamas, they'll definitely, they'll kill some people if it's politically convenient. All right. But speaking of media lying, CNN got busted with the vicious Cincinnati mob beating. Well, they didn't cover this one because it was an uncomfortable racial attack. Maybe the white guy started it, but it was no excuse for there was a separate white woman that got basically knocked unconscious by a man left on the ground. And then the media didn't cover it. None of the politicians reached out except for Vivek Ramaswamy, who's running for governor of Ohio. So they're complicit in more cover-ups. They got CNN slammed for labeling the black New York City shooter as possibly white. I guess they have no credit. I mean, it's just embarrassing at this point. But I mean, they have no shame. They know they get paid to spread lies and propaganda. I won't get into. I don't know exactly where to go with this story because I don't know if the guy targeted the NFL headquarters, some are saying, or he's on the 33rd floor of, I don't know if it's BlackRock or Blackstone. There's a mentally disturbed guy. I don't know if he's a security guard in Vegas and he drove all the way up to New York and went on a shooting. But they said he was a white dude. Of course. Even when it was just extremely obvious that he's not. That's the way they play with these narratives. It's pretty sad. Here it is, CNN releasing their new white male action figure. Okay, well, let's move on. A few more quick ones. So Trump responsible for the left-wing media layoffs? No. But probably indirectly, as much as they want to try to convince people that Trump shut down Colbert because he was just calling him out. Oh, really? Then why is he going to stick on for the next several months? No. I know they've been exposed in so many lies from Russia or the Hunter laptop to COVID, so many other things. They're hemorrhaging money. They're not profitable. They haven't been. The propaganda is not working anymore. So now they're facing all the layoffs. So it's indirectly because of Trump, especially with all with the Russiagate thing coming out and the fact checkers. Not good. Yeah, Foster knew where the bodies were buried. So I guess they couldn't kill him in the office because whoever was investigated would have looked around the office. And the Clintons did not want that. So they, I guess, after they had whacked him, they rolled him into a carpet and hauled him and then dumped him down the river. I don't even know the exact details. But they found like the carpet fibers all over his suit. So what was he doing? He was just rolling around in the carpet in his office and then decided to go take a swim in the river. But they covered it for a long time. So the media has been covering up on the Clintons for a long time, especially now let's segue that perfectly now into Ghislaine Maxwell. Because that's the next story. Pardon Ghislaine Maxwell if she provides useful info. This turns out Bill Clinton had been to that. He's been on the flight logs like 26 times. And Trump is calling that out. I don't have that video. But he has been speaking in more detail about the Epstein list. And giving some backstory. So apparently Trump says Jeffrey Epstein was stealing workers from Mar-a-Lago. So you can see there's like just a general creep showing up at Mar-a-Lago and trying to poach his employees and perhaps recruit some of the younger women like Virginia Giuffre, who I guess worked at Mar-a-Lago Club back in the day as a spa attendant. That's when Ghislaine noticed her reading a book and offered her a position as Epstein's masseuse. What an opportunity. So between preying on young girls and poaching talent, Trump decided to tell him to take a hike, persona non grata, at his resort. Actually, it's right here.
Explain, but I don't want to waste your time by explaining it. But for years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that worked for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again. And I threw him out of the place, persona non grata. I threw him out, and that was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth. And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard. And many other people that are very big people. Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island, and I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island. Yeah.
Okay, well, I did have a clip of that. Not saying he's completely exonerated in whatever he's done, but he wasn't on the flight. He didn't go to the island. He did have relations with him. I don't know if he's how bad he's involved with this scandal. I don't think it's that bad, but there's certainly some embarrassing information, and he's trying to stay away from the release. And that may have been tampered with as well. And we'll see if they're able to get some useful info. Got Dan Bongino here declaring he's shocked to the core by the FBI deep state investigations. Now, he'll never be the same after learning what he's learned. Probably getting into the frazzle dazzle and the gate pizza and all of the really sinister, the Epstein satanic weirdo rabbit hole stuff. I'm sure he's had a good look and is quite disturbed. It's pretty terrifying. But this is the stuff we've known about for a while. So it's going to be shocking to the public. That's why they don't want to reveal a lot of stuff. So he's struggling there, and he's got some humanity in him. And God knows what he knows and what he's actually seen. Maybe it's a good plug there, Deb. Maybe we'll have to watch that special on Netflix about Ghislaine. Lots of info. Trump kicked him out of his room. Yeah. Dan Bonnie knows. He's seen some stuff. He looks very uncomfortable with that presser with Kash Patel. They saw something. Rattled them both. This is not going to be easy. But I think he's going to pull through. I think him and Kash Patel are actually good patriots, and they will do something with Tulsi. Have some faith in Trump. There's a lot of really good things happening. I know we're all waiting on the big arrest that's going to shock the world, but I have to believe it's coming. I don't know if we're going to get the EBS. God, that would have been cool, man. I was really looking forward to that at the beginning of like 2021. Oh, there's going to be a EBS, and there's going to be 10 days of darkness. And then the Patriots are going to go round up all the bad people in the middle of the night and send them all to Guantanamo Bay. America. Yeah, it's going to change everything. Man. But we had to deal with Biden for 4 years. However, there's a lot of good news. So I'm going to stay optimistic there. Got to. We got Trump back in. I mean, it was pretty grim there for a while. I thought we might get stuck with Kamala. Oh, God. So, anyway. It's possible the report on Bondi's desk was not what she thought it was. Yeah, she got ahead of it. But then they put all those binders out. Like, I don't know. I think she knows something and they pulled back for whatever reason. But it just ended up making everybody look bad. And then I didn't, I didn't like the way Trump was, criticizing the base for asking about it. Like, it was mishandled. But that's okay. They can still fix this, and they can still get answers. So we got Ghislaine Maxwell demanding immunity to testify before the House Oversight Committee and wants to wait judgment on her Supreme Court petition. So the committee is not considering granting immunity. But anyway, she's she's going to be in jail for 20 years. I don't know how long it's been so far, 4 or 5 in. Certainly, I'm sure she would love to get out and make a deal if she can. Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyer, she's discussed 100 different people during the recent interviews. So I guess she's spilling the beans. She's been very forthcoming. She's not hiding anything. She's not pleading the fifth. But she doesn't want to do this publicly. But if she gives useful info, can she buy her freedom with that? Maybe. Or at least take a lot of years off her sentence. I mean, I don't know. I think that would be a good idea. We want to get answers. If she's the one that can bring them, then let her. She's alive, at least for now. Hopefully it'll stay that way. Because now Jeffrey, I don't think Jeffrey's dead. I'm not going to buy that story. Not yet. Not when they took years to release footage of his supposed demise. Try to commit suicide. And the guards fell asleep and the camera is shut off. And the video footage is missing a few minutes. Nope. Underbill bar. Nope. I think they smuggled him out of there. But he's not to be revealed yet. Okay, what else do we have? J.D. Vance exploding on an AP reporter who asks if he's protecting pedophiles.
Hi, Mr. Vice President. Julie Carr-Smythe from the Associated Press. I guess I'm going to be that person. There are some protesters outside accusing the GOP of protecting pedophiles, and we're wondering what you think are the reasons the U.S. government should shield the client list of Epstein from the public, and what you have to say about any relevance to that here today.
Well, let me say just a couple of things. First of all, the president has been very clear. We're not shielding anything. The president has directed the attorney general to release all credible information and, frankly, to go and find additional credible information related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. He's been incredibly transparent about that stuff, but some of that stuff takes time. You've got to assemble that stuff. You've got to compile that stuff. You've got to redact some victims' names so that you protect the victims. But the president has been very clear. He wants full transparency. He's asked that from the Attorney General. And I know, because I talk to her all the time, the Attorney General is hard at work on that issue right now. But I think I got to make an observation that there's an interesting thing about this case that the American media seems to totally ignore. For 4 years, under Joe Biden's Department of Justice, the media didn't give a damn about the Epstein files or about the Epstein case. For literally 20 years, the story about this scumbag, and he is a scumbag pedophile, Jeffrey Epstein, he's dead now, but for 20 years, you had Obama and George W. Bush's Department of Justice go easy on this guy. They didn't fully investigate the case. They didn't show any curiosity about the case. And now Donald J. Trump is asking his Department of Justice to show full transparency. And somehow that's a criticism of Donald J. Trump and not Barack Obama and George W. Bush. If you want to criticize the people who aren't showing full transparency, you ought to go after the administrations that went easy on Jeffrey Epstein, the administrations that concealed this case for 20 years, and the administrations that failed to show full transparency. Donald J. Trump, I'm telling you, he's got nothing to hide. His administration has got nothing to hide, and that's why he's been an advocate for full transparency in this case. He's going to keep on being an advocate for full transparency, but while we're focused on that case, Donald J. Trump is also worried about making sure these great workers get more take-home pay and better jobs.
Okay, well, there you have it. So I'm not dodging the questions. I don't remember the media asking any of these questions of Joe Biden. I don't think Joe Biden really answered very many questions. They couldn't, unless they were on like note cards. Unless they were on the teleprompter. Who had gone off the stage. Could ask Karine Jean-Pierre. Be stonewalled, but nobody would have dared ask. So yeah, I'm disappointed at the way the Trump administration handled the Epstein files, sure. But it's not over. They didn't slam the door shut, and it's still open, and now they're talking to Ghislaine. Deb doesn't think she should be released ever. But what if she's the only person that knows something and can actually put some big people away? The people that really deserve it. Or if we just get nothing. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure about the pardoning, but if they can take, a certain X amount of years off her sentence, yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Seeing how she's the only one that can speak now, I don't know. It's a tough call because she's absolutely a monster for what she did. She was absolutely recruiting these girls. I don't know. I'm a fan of making a deal if there's a way to get it done. I don't know. But it's fair. But I mean, there's no incentive for her to speak if she's not going to get out no matter what. I don't know. It's a tough call. Wally 2028. Let's see. That'd be fun. Well, I can dream. We'll think. I don't think it would be a dream to be the president, but I would do it maybe. I don't know. Be interesting to see if I could get stuff done. But we'll talk about it in a couple of years. Maybe I'll run for some office. Maybe I should run for a smaller office, and then we'll see. I don't know. These people they're so bought and paid. It's such a dirty business. Might be tough to pull off. And I'm in Tennessee now, so there's actually some decent people here already in office. But we'll think about it. Good call. Thank you for your endorsement. Yeah, Vance would be great. And Tim Burchett, man, he's a rising star. He's been there for a while, but he's starting to get more recognition now. He's done good. Josh Hawley's good. That's a good lineup. I'd be down with that. 2028. If you told me that's the ticket right there, I'd go with that. But is it Josh Hawley? He's a senator, right, though? Senator, Missouri, so he wouldn't be the Speaker of the House. Or he could be the head there in the Senate, maybe. Anyway, I'd like to believe that. We shall see. The office of transparency. I don't know. Even Elon got stuck there trying to change DC, so I don't know what I could do. It would be fun. I always wanted to just be in that sort of think tank or be in that group. As a part, we shall see. I don't know. We got a little ways to go. Okay, let's move on. Here's Ghislaine Maxwell offered to testify before Congress, but only under strict conditions, including full immunity. And she hopes to receive clemency from Trump. Uh-oh. My article disappeared. So, things are moving along. We'll see what Ghislaine can provide. Any useful info? You know what I forgot? I had a video of old Ron Paul and Pat Buchanan talking about how bad it would be to be, supporting Israel. They were criticizing Israel for things that they were doing in Gaza from like 25 years ago. But that's an old issue now. Oops. Did I miss it? Technical snafu. But apparently Julian Assange was saying that he was going to publish any dirt on Trump, but there was no dirt on Trump. He said, just like Obama's spying operation on Trump, they found no dirt, so they had to create it. It's interesting. You would think Trump, over all those years, you'd have a lot of stuff, but they actually had to make shit up with the Steele dossier, and even WikiLeaks didn't have anything. That's pretty interesting. That adds to a lot of credibility for Donald Trump, man. So, interesting to note, blast from the past. That was years ago. So both Russia and WikiLeaks didn't have anything. Cool. So I don't think he's did any dirty things on Epstein's island. Anyway, and he was never at the island. Anywho, let's move on. So pardon Ghislaine Maxwell if she provides useful info. Maybe if it's useful enough. I think I just, again, not full pardon yet, but if they could take 5-10 years off her sentence for something good, if it's worthy, yeah, I think you got to make a deal somewhere. So next, Trump economy turning out to be surprise success. I've only got a couple more quick hitters. Man, I'm already pushing 2 hours, so let me wrap things up. Lightning round. And they got another big show coming up in 3 hours. So that should be fun. Let's do a couple quick notes on the economy, because here's another interesting story for Trump, because he took a lot of shit for this, going for these tariffs. The consensus was that he was making a huge mistake and this was going to be costly. And all the leftists knew it, and the libertarians were freaking out about it. Don't do the tariffs. But even now, Bill Maher is admitting he was wrong about the Trump tariffs sinking the economy as the stock market is hitting record highs.
I remember along with probably most people, was saying at the beginning, by the 4th of July, somebody had to think how the the economy was going to be tanked by then. And I was kind of like, well, that seems right to me, but that didn't happen. Now, it could happen tomorrow. I'm just saying that's reality. So let's work first from the reality of that, not from I just hate Donald Trump. Because that's boring and doesn't get us anywhere and leads you to dishonesty. Because the truth...
I love this, the second voice. So you got the leftist reasonable voices. You've had, Jon Stewart for forever. And then Bill Maher has kind of been that distant number two where sometimes he's correct and he's willing to go against his party. And then sometimes he's just total, flaming TDS. But he's really come a long way this year. He visited the White House, hung out with Trump. They had a great, interaction. They came there with Kid Rock recommendation. But they're coming across the aisle, and that's good. See the reasonable left come together with the right again. And he's being intellectually honest about this, and it's not just, you just got to fall in line and hate Trump for everything just because it's him. There's a point where you got to, just call things out for what they are. And sometimes, he does some good things.
I don't know what his strategy is. But look, the stock market is at record highs. I know not everybody lives by the stock market, but I also drive around. I don't see a country in a depression at all. I see people out there just living their lives. And I would have thought, and I got to own it, that these tariffs were going to fucking sink this economy by this time, and they didn't. So, how do we deal with that fact? Because that's the fact.
Yeah. That's it. Just needed some time. You had to do something. 37 trillion in debt. We can keep continuing the definition of insanity, doing things over and over again. Well, it went in there with Doge and Elon and got rid of some wasteful spending. Did the reciprocal tariffs under a lot of scrutiny, a lot of criticism. It's going to take a while, but it's starting to work out. It's bearing fruit. All right, got one more. There's another critic of Trump who had a hilarious moment on CNBC. Jim Cramer said the F word on TV. Snaps as the rate cut frustration boils over. So Trump isn't the only one frustrated with Jerome Powell and the Fed for not lowering the interest rates. They've been too high for too long. So here it is. This was pretty funny. Jim Cramer.
Our biggest problem is we have so much growth that the Fed won't cut. What the fuck? Oh, Jesus Christ.
What the fuck? And then Jesus Christ, he's like yelling at himself. Let's replay that again.
Our biggest problem is we have so much growth that the Fed won't cut. What the fuck? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my
God. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I take it right back.
Everybody,
I take it right back.
It's okay. It's okay. We're in the moment.
Take it back. It's already been done.
It's just the way
I take it right back. That was bad.
It's cable with a ticket.
Oh my God. Nobody's heard that word before.
No.
Very offended.
And would say.
I take that back. That's right.
Real people doing live TV.
No.
Jim, though, to your point, Goldman today, the most notable change.
I think I'm out.
Oh, he's loving it, this guy over here.
Fine. You're absolutely
Goldman
fine.
Today, the most notable.
You want me to say one?
No, I just feel like
enough. Everybody's going to say the word fuck. Let's just go around in a circle. What the fuck is Powell doing?
The rate cut, the economy's booming.
Let Carl talk now.
Our biggest problem is we have so much growth that the Fed won't cut. What the fuck? Oh, Jesus Christ.
I love it, man. All right. Almost makes me like Kramer again. All right. Oh yeah, I forgot. That's a great. Cause I do believe that. I think you could make an argument for that. Bill Maher is the illegitimate son of Hugh Hefner. He looks just like him. Yeah, Bill Maher probably is in the Palisades. I don't know where. Yeah. I drove around LA quite a bit in 2019, 2020, and you will see a lot of homeless everywhere. Yeah, especially downtown. work those gigs, go downtown and have to walk a certain distance from the parking lot, and you'd have to be going through the homeless encampments. Or just whatever. But let's see. Yeah, right, Kenneth? Yeah, Hefner is his dad. For sure. I believe it. Oh, as a hockey analogy. No. Okay. Well. All right. So I guess I have one more story left. So the Trump economy turning out to be a surprise success so far. Yeah. Went through some rough times. The market crashed when they started doing the tariffs, and people were worried or understandably freaking out. This is a bold strategy. But like I said, it's been bearing fruit. They just did a big EU trade deal. Oh, I think this is going to work out. Now, if they can make so much money from the tariffs that they get rid of the IRS, I mean, Trump is going to go down as one of the best presidents. They're going to have to make a space on Mount Rushmore for him. If he can arrest some high-level people and get us out of any conflicts, get rid of the IRS because he's making us so much money for these tariffs, then yeah, he deserves a spot on Mount Rushmore. Okay. Yeah, it's a mess there, man. It was fun in 2019, but it's going to take a while to fix that place again. All right, last story. Sydney Sweeney ads. Are they filled with Nazi propaganda? All right, on the final note. So leftists believe Sydney Sweeney's American Eagle jeans ad as a Nazi dog whistle. Guess they just hate the fact that she's white, slim, and attractive.
I'm not here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans. And I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. Or that they make your butt look amazing. Why would I need to do that? But if you said that you want to buy the jeans, I'm not going to stop you. But just so we're clear, this is not me telling you to buy American Eagle jeans.
Sydney Sweeney has very keen.
You see what I did there, right?
Nice. Well, we can't have nice things. People are going to find a way to freak out. Here's another one.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has very keen.
Genes are passed down.
It's a little wordplay. It's jeans. Is it denim jeans that she's wearing? Or is it her genetic material genes, her DNA? It's just a little fun. It's a little ad. People get so worked up over the dumbest shit, though. So they found a way to twist this as, oh, she's blonde hair, blue eyes, talking about genetics and the master race. She's looking down on all of us. I don't know. Not really.
Spring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Yeah. Some people are having some fun with that. Who likes Sydney Sweeney's ad for American Eagle more than Dylan Mulvaney's ad for Bud Light? Interesting contrast. Another one. This person's opinion is that women are hating these ads because they're miserable, ugly, and have self-image issues.
Sydney Sweeney has very keen.
This is so cool Americana, hot girl, blue jeans, Mustang. People are trying to compare it to a Nazi ad. Jesus. Give us a break. No fun anymore. Yeah, Rick, I know what you mean there. I was concerned because I had to get a new car because mine got broke down. That was one of the selling points I had to look at, where all the tariffs were going to affect my decision, but I needed to do it anyway. Mike Farrell, we should all love Sweeney. She's beautiful. Yeah, I could dip in that gene pool too. Yeah, exactly, Deb. I think people just don't have any sense of history and they don't remember anything. That's just like a classic Americana ad. It's great. It's healthy. It's fun. And there was a great ad with even Nike's coming around. Did I have that article? I thought I did. Let me get back to the. Yeah, here it is, showing the difference of the ads. This is a great one. I mean, yeah, even Nike's changed its tune. Getting rid of all that woke garbage. So now it's like healthy, like, you know, father, son, hot babe. Not just whatever DEI insanity. I won't play some of the leftists freaking out about it. Yeah, but they're born different era. They didn't see those Calvin Klein ads and many of those things in the day during those times. The old world. Speaking of the old world, one final note. Lost another one, man. This is like every show is like a curse lately. We had Ozzy Osbourne. We had the Cosby Kid. I think it's Malcolm Jamal Warner. I worked his mother's birthday party in LA. Great guy. Then Hulk Hogan, the legendary Hulkster, passes on. Been a lot of death. And another one of my big important icons of my childhood, in that 80s, 90s era. So you have the music of Ozzy Osbourne, and I went to the first two Ozfests. Hulkamania, I grew up on 80s wrestling. Grew up watching the Cosby Show. And now, I was a huge Cubs fan growing up. Well, at least, you know, once I got cable. I was in Minnesota, so I was a Twins fan. And then when we got cable, I got WGN. And then I fell in love with the Cubs and Harry Carey and Steve Stone. And yeah, the 89 Cubs had such a great team. And the superstar Ryne Sandberg, Hall of Famer, passed away, 65 years old. That sucks. Oh yeah, I'm losing so many of the icons of my childhood. So I was a diehard Cubs fan for so many years. He was a star player. Along with him, and I used to idolize, Shawn Dunston, the shortstop. And so many of those guys. I could go on. I don't watch baseball much anymore, but I don't watch pro wrestling anymore, but those were near and dear to me for so much of my childhood. So sad to see another legend gone too soon. Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio. He's got enough. Wouldn't Sydney Sweeney be too old for him? I don't know. I think Sydney Sweeney, I heard that there was maybe a fling with her and Tom Brady, too. I don't know. Nothing becomes between me and my Kelvins. It's been a while. I'm going to have to look up. Those old commercials are great, too. Mini sodas. Yeah, Twins were good. Twins had some good teams there, but they were harder to follow unless you listen to AM radio, CCO. Yes, Ryne Sandberg, WGN Games. Thank you. Yeah, that was such a cool. That was like my perfect window, right? Because I loved baseball, and since it was a more traditional household, and we had kind of the one major TV that had the cable, I didn't get to call shots of what I wanted to watch. So my best time to watch TV was right after I got home from school and before my parents came home. And guess what was on afternoon TV many times was the Chicago Cubs games. Yeah, the Shawnometer. Good times. And then Sammy Sosa came around. That was 92, 93. I do believe Sandberg was around 84 to into the mid 90s. But yeah, definitely huge. I was a ridiculously diehard Cubs fan for throughout the 90s and beyond. Anyway, and I fell in love after not even the WGN, but just I went to Wrigley Field. My mom used to work for a company in Minnesota that was an affiliate of Chicago Tribune. And one time she got to go out, and I went with her, and they got us tickets to a Cubs game. And that was it just blew me away. It was just such a different environment, going from the Metrodome, which was pretty stale and boring, and then going to Wrigley Field, where it's like the people are really into it. It's a totally different atmosphere, a totally different vibe, and people are just getting drunk and having fun, versus Minnesota, which was more sterilized family fun. But it's changed. I haven't been to Target Field, but that's more of a traditional baseball experience. Yeah, KSTP. I think that was Channel 9 back in those days. Get to watch they used to carry some of the local baseball games. Otherwise, you'd listen to it on CCO on the AM dial. Watched 120 games. Yeah, Rick. Okay, that's cool, man. I thought you were more of a Reds fan, or am I getting you confused with somebody else? But yeah, WGN, that was fun, man. Miss those days. I love Steve Stone and the announcers too. It's good stuff. Harry Carey, the legend, take me out to the ball game. Mark Grace was awesome. One of the cool dudes. Yeah, they had some fun teams, man. Great characters. I'm glad at least some of those guys got to go on and win some championships. I was so happy for Mark Grace with the Diamondbacks and getting that. Like, it was a clutch hit. It was off Mariano Rivera. There's some good times, man. I used to be really into baseball. Not so much anymore, but it was definitely a big part of my life during those times. Sorry, Deb. Sports talk yawn. Yeah, Cubs had a national following. Yeah, like me too, yeah. So from Minnesota or Ohio or wherever to get the broadcast from. They were an easy team to fall in love with. A lot of character. Good times. All righty. Well, anyway, that's going to sum up my time today, but it was great to have you guys here. Rick and Kenneth and Deb, TK, Mark, whoever's out there listening, lurking, hitting the replay, please like and subscribe. We'll do it again Thursday. And of course, coming up in 2.5 hours from now, will be Toxically Masculine Tuesday with Mike Barra, Dr. Brooks Agnew, Trail Boss Steve Doran, and myself, the best roundtable on the internet. We'll cover the latest news and current events. And, should be lots of fun. So maybe we'll see you guys there. That's all I've got for today. Thank you guys. Love you guys. And we'll see you next time, I hope. And that's all I've got. Any more? Very good. Blake Meister, the Blakester. Okay, we'll see you guys tonight. Take care, everybody. Have a good one, and we'll see you later. And I am out.